This question pertains to city services. Many of us in CD7 feel neglected because it seems that city services aren't distributed as quickly or as equitably compared to communities in other districts. Please give us some specifics as to how you will improve upon the delivery of these city services to Sylmar.
Well, as I said, I had experience working for the Sylmar community, and I do know that they feel neglected up here on many services that the city does not distribute adequately. And then being in the government myself, working with the city council people throughout the 20 years that I worked here, it was always a conundrum to find out how it got, they did these formulas to do the sidewalk repairs, the street gutters, cutting the trees. And I will tell you that I have those same issues in my street. I mean, I don't even have lights on my street. And I remember there were communities up here that were complaining about that as well, and streets. So when I was working for Representative Berman, we came to the council people and said, look, we got money here to give you money for streets improvements. So let's go out and find some streets and let's improve that. For me, that was what I did. Now, coming to represent you at the city level, I will do that. I will commit to doing the same thing, going out and finding out what we need to do to enhance those streets, to make those repairs and cut those trees down. It's ridiculous that we've gone so long without. There are still streets out here in Sylmar that have no cement. There's still dirt, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous for communities. I know that. I drive through them throughout my time here in the Sylmar area. So I will commit to you. I don't know exactly what the answer is because I don't work for the city, but I will work for the city and we will make change. Bottom line, I guarantee that and I commit to you doing that. I'm not going to give you any false promises. All I can do is give you my word and commitment, and people that know me from working with them in the past know it's strong. I commit to making change here for your services to be better. Thank you.
Mr. B. Schaefer with Schaefer again. I've worked in a number of campaigns throughout the city. I was personal friends with Tom Bradley as a councilman and as mayor, Arthur K. Snyder, Gilbert Lindsay, the Emperor of the 9th District, who served till he was 92, Mitchell Farrell, Tom LaBonge. These guys are all friends of mine, and the issues we have here sometimes are the same issues in other cities, other districts of the city. I went to Pacoma, I went to North Hills, all over Sylmar, getting my hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of petition signatures. And every block I came to, people were unhappy with the speed of traffic in their neighborhood. Their kids are walking the sidewalks to go to school, and every block has people that are very upset at the speed. Now, we can't be having speed bumps on every street, that'll wreck everybody's car, but we can have more vigilant enforcement. We can have more signage. We have to pay attention to the speed of residential neighborhood traffic. As well as the services the city gives us, we have to be careful we aren't overserved, and I'm talking about the Department of Transportation. They give out tickets that are ridiculous in parking. I have had dozens of tickets in parking, and I know what I'm talking about. There is a state law that states that when the reason for the rule ceases to exist, the rule itself ceases to exist. I'm going to have that tattooed on the forehead of everybody who is out writing parking tickets. There is no sense in them giving a ticket out at 10 o'clock at night in front of a church when there's nobody around. And I've had a ticket like that in Los Feliz. And the officer said, we enforce 24 hours a day. Well, I went to City Hall and I found out that we don't. It's just that the staff doesn't know what they're doing.
Again, my name is Dale Gibson. I want to start this question because the question is very specific about what we would do in Sylmar and what. I'm a kind of guy, if I want to solve a problem, I want to step back 2 or 3 steps. First off, the solutions and where we want it done needs to start with you. Okay? I'm a product of neighborhood council. I was president of my neighborhood council. I served on my neighborhood council. I currently am on the Equine Advisory Committee. The city has many advisory committees, a bike committee, horse committee, whatever. So I'm not just a horse guy. I've been very fortunate in my last 30 years, my place and my wife, and I've reached a spot in my life now where I'm here to serve you guys. My point is I want to meet with you, the people, at least once a month, and let's attack all these problems together. Because any of us up here can sit here and second guess and say, yeah, let's do that, let's do that. And it may not be what you want. A few years ago, the equestrian folks here in Sylmar and in my area came to me and said, we need street crossing lights. We need street crossing signs. I went to the Councilman Alarcon at the time. I tricked him a little bit. I said, come over and let's see where we need to put these signs at. I parked in a bad spot of the road, got out. He almost got hit by a car, and he said, this is really bad here. And I went, okay, this is thinking out of the box, and this is what we need to do. I know our streets are bad, potholes. I have my series. I've been going around looking at all the infrastructure problem. But the biggest point is about here for Sylmar is talking to you, the people of Sylmar. And that's what I promise to do. This is my message. If you get nothing else from me, I will be meeting with you. You may be sick of me after a few years, but we will be meeting and we will figure out these problems together. And then I will go down and fight for whatever we need. I don't think, yep, I used it all.
2013, Mayor Garcetti ran on a Back to Basics platform, and I think it really resonated with a lot of people. The idea that our city government is supposed to be responsive to our needs, to what our streets look like, to trees being pruned, to those basic everyday needs that we need our city to be taken care of. It's interesting, though, because if you start digging into the data, Mayor Garcetti has actually done a good job in certain areas. But when there was an audit of 311 calls, there's still other areas, not the valley, that get their calls taken care of immediately. Bulky trash pickup, trees that are down, those types of things. It doesn't happen here. And even after the audit, they couldn't give us a good reason why that was. Why are we not equal to other areas? And that really comes back to that cliche of we don't get our fair share. So I think the next council person really needs to go in there and demand answers and make sure that all areas are serviced equally. The city does have a tremendous amount of programs and the data to be able to do that, whether it's fixing potholes, whether it's fixing down trees, whether it's creating sidewalks. I think it also has to do with another issue that's a hot button issue right now, and that is development. And stop giving developers exemptions when they want to create new developments. They need to be able to fix the infrastructure. They need to be required to fix the streets in the areas they want to build. They need to be required to have setbacks for sidewalks. When are we going to get them if we don't require them when they're building right then and there? So back to basics, I'm all for it, but let's do it here too.
So, I actually currently work for the City of Los Angeles. I work in the Department of Engineering, DOT, and I'm going to tell you guys one of the biggest issues that we have, and this is for anybody that gets elected. The morale is really bad with the city workers. One of the things that happened, and I believe I already told the story a couple of times, when Villaraigosa got elected and he promised he was going to fix every single street in the City of Los Angeles within 8 years, and then they offered him to buy a machine from England that can actually do that. And then when he was like, if we fix every single street, which that was his promise when Villaraigosa ran, we're going to be able to, he was going to be able to, say, I deliver services. So one of the things that happened is when he met with Public Works, the Public Works boss said, well, if we fix every single street in the City of Los Angeles, then what else are we going to do in the 9th year? And so they stopped that idea, and now it's going to take us 80 years to fix what we couldn't fix in 8 years. So that's what's happening in the City of Los Angeles. That's what happened with the workers, and that's why we don't see results. The bottom line is job security. The longer we drag, the longer it takes, the longer more generations of workers are going to be here. So that's something that I would personally, like I said, I already worked for the City of Los Angeles for 7 years, and I'm currently working for the Department of Transportation. I know how it is. It breaks my heart, but that's how things are. So that's something, I personally remember calling 311, not getting my bulky speak up, and I will grab my own personal vehicle, grab a couple of volunteers, and pick up the trash myself. So that's the type of worker I am, and so that's something for all of you guys to think about. We really need to work on the morale of city employees. Thank you.
Most recently, in my position as a commissioner on the Board of Public Works, I actually led a number of these initiatives. Most importantly, right now, we have a very unique opportunity, given the sidewalk settlement agreement, to finally help repair many of the sidewalks that have been destroyed and have been uplifted by many of the tree roots in this city. We have a situation right now where Xylella has taken on and killed a number of trees in the San Fernando Valley, causing us a huge liability for both for people and for their private property. Being proactive about removing these dead trees is going to be one way where we will find a very large return on investment by making sure that we reduce our liability as a city from being affected by these issues, but more importantly, also making sure that we can start to have the kind of community and quality of life and the environment that we want to see in this area. The sidewalk repair program is going to be another very important tool in us getting there. I led the initiative to help make sure that we could overhaul our city's asphalt plant, something that was over 70 years old, so that we can produce our own asphalt. Another return on investment that had been neglected by 2 previous mayoral administrations, but we finally broke ground on that project so that we could increase our recycled content, increase the longevity of our streets so that we don't have to repave them as often, and we are finally going to take the returns from that investment and actually expand our ability to invest in more street resurfacing in this city. More importantly, I will lead an effort on proactive cleanups in this area, utilizing the very same contractors that we have used for years and depended upon for our proactive graffiti abatement process. That is a unique way of us not having to necessarily wait for the Department of Sanitation to get that call from your 311, but to make sure that just alongside our graffiti abatement program, we can actually start managing and getting ahead of these illegal dumping situations and all the garbage in our community to keep it clean.
Hello, everyone. Well, when we talk about city services, I have a track record. I was a board member with the Sylmar Neighborhood Council probably for 2 years, and I'm also currently still with the Outreach Committee. So what I do is I spearhead community cleanups, beautification projects. And let me tell you a quick story. A couple months back, we did a cleanup here alongside Eldridge Boulevard, and the community cleanup was great. We had great community engagement, but the sad part was that since there was no council member, it was vacant, the Department of Sanitation didn't come and pick up the trash bags. I had to come in my pickup truck and pick up 70 trash bags by itself. So what I'm trying to say is we have to have more accountability. We have to have someone who's not just going to talk about policies and whatnot, someone who actually knows how to get out there, get his hands dirty, and work with the community. Not only Sylmar, but Sun and Tahunga, Mission Hills, North Hills, you name it. I take pride in my community. I take pride in the youth. I want to make sure that when they walk to school, the streets are nice and clean. The traffic is safe for the cars to drive by. There's a stop sign where they need a stop sign, a street light. So I want to work with you guys, have town halls, and let's get to work, and let's make Sylmar and the whole District 7 a better community for all. Thank you.